What's up, YouTube? Today I'm coming at you guys with another video. Today's video is going to be about dread rot and how to prevent it and the causes of dread rot. All right, so it's going to be a little longer video than the 5 minutes that I've usually been sticking to lately, but bear with me, there's a lot of good content. All right, so before we talk about how to prevent dread rot, we need to understand what it is. Okay, in my research, there's two types of dread rot. Okay, there's the first type, which is the true type of dread rot. And then there's the second type, which is something entirely different that kind of looks similar and so can be confused as dread rot. And both of them can be confused vice versa, okay? And you'll see in a minute why they get confused. The first type is true dread rot. Now that's mold and mildew that get stuck in your hair. Why does it get stuck in your hair? It's caused by wetness, persistent wetness and humidity inside of your hair. Your hair is never being fully dried. The characteristics of this dread rot are going to be white in color. They're going to be, sometimes you'll see fuzz inside of your hair, and it's not lint, it's actual fuzz, and where you scratch at it and it kind of puffs away, fuzz. And then the smell of it, it can sometimes smell like a wet towel. If you guys have ever left a towel after you've taken a shower on your bathroom floor and then left it there for a while, it didn't dry, and for whatever odd reason you decided to pick it up and smell it, it smelled exactly like that. Dirty, kind of musky type, disgusting smell. It's not a pleasant smell. You'll know if you smell it. And if you live in the Pacific Northwest, then you'll know exactly what I mean, because mildew's on everything. Everything is wet there. And then sometimes dread rot, this type of dread rot, the mold will only smell when it's wet. You won't get the smell when it's dry. But as soon as you wet your hair, you'll get that same mildewy smell back. And even after you wash your hair, you'll be confused as to why you can't get rid of that smell. And it's crazy, I was reading online, there are some people that don't even realize they smell it anymore, because your body gets trained not to smell certain things if you smell it for long enough. And so you may not realize that you even smell like it, but somebody else may be like, dude, this guy stinks. And you don't realize it, and you've got dread rot. So I encourage you guys to be constantly looking through your dreads to make sure you don't have crap stuck in it, including dread rot. Okay, so the second type of dread rot is going to be, it's like buildup. All right. Now, it looks very similar to dread rot, but it really isn't the same thing. Okay. Now, the buildup, again, ends up being white in color for the most part. A lot of times it's waxy and greasy. All right. And if you scratch at it, it can sometimes be flaky and flake off as opposed to puffing off with the mold and mildew. And the smell can be a lot different. Now, it's caused by bad products that you're using in your hair sometimes, and sometimes it's caused by a scalp irritation, whether you have a dry scalp or what have you. And let's just say you have a dry scalp, which is what I have, and the reason why I'm making this video, because I experienced the second type of dread rot. It's not really dread rot, and it's caused by sebum or sebum. Okay, and I know I talked about this in a previous video, but I'll get into it a little more now. So sebum is that the follicle of oil that sits next to your hair follicle that coats the entire shaft of your hair. It's what makes your hair strong and makes your hair not break off. Now, with dreadlock locks, obviously, you're going to have tightly knotted sections of hair, right? And so that oil isn't able to get up and coat the entire shaft of the hair like it used to. And if you're producing more of it than you should be, because you're sending certain signals to your head, like your scalp is really dry, then your scalp may overproduce this oil, and then it gets stuck in your dreads, just like anything else would get stuck in your dreads. The only difference between that and this is that once it gets stuck, it's extremely hard to get out of your hair, okay? A lot of times you'll see people that have a combination of this. They have a combination of the sebum and the product buildup along with mold, because if you let it go for long enough, the second type, it can become the first type. Okay, because what happens is that this greasy, waxy oiliness gets stuck in your hair, and then it promotes and traps more water, and water can't get out of your hair, and then a la mold builds, okay, and the mildew builds. So you always need to be cognizant of the products that you're using. So let's talk about, now that we know what it is, let's talk about how to prevent it, okay? One of the best ways that you can prevent dread rot is going to be sticking to a regular wash routine, okay? I say this in almost every video, you guys, because it's so important for your dread journey, all right? make sure that you get on a wash routine that works for you and you stick to it. For me, every Friday is my wash day. Okay, I try to make every single Friday a wash day. For me, once a week is perfect for my scalp and my scalp sensitivity and my lifestyle. And Fridays is an easy day for me to remember because it's at the end of the week. So as long as you're sticking to a regular wash schedule, it doesn't have to be once a week, doesn't have to be once every 2 weeks. It can be whatever you want it to be, but you need to stick to it. As long as it's working for you, obviously, you need to stick to it. Okay. Because if you're, let's say you go from washing once every day to washing once every month, then your scalp has been trained to think certain things and to do certain things with the oil levels on your hair and how it's going to slough off, and is used to that certain amount of manipulation. And then you stop altogether cold turkey, your scalp is going to take a minute to adjust. So you'll go a week where your scalp isn't it hasn't adjusted yet, excuse me. And you'll start creating more oil and that kind of stuff. And this is where you can run into the second type of dread rot. Okay. Dry your hair after you wash it. Okay. So you've done good. You've been sticking to your wash routine, but if you're not drying your hair, you're doing nothing for yourself. You're actually making the situation worse, not better. Okay. Why do I say dry your hair? It's very simple. You want to get the water out of your hair. If you leave water in your hair, you're going to cause dread rot. It's that simple. There's nothing more to it. You have to dry your hair. Now, things like swimming, the sea, the lake, the pool, dipping your hair in a hose, whatever you're doing, a bucket, I don't care. You need to dry your hair. But the difference here is you're not using your shampoo or what have you. You're just getting water on it, and you don't know what's in that water. So I always say, if you don't know, when in doubt, wash it out. All right. So don't leave it there. Don't leave the water from the swimming pool. Yeah, it's got chlorine, but y'all seen people's swimming pools turn green, especially here in Vegas. We see it all the time. So don't trust it. Just because it looks clean doesn't mean it is clean. Okay. So you want to be making sure that if you're going swimming in the sea, I know everybody's talking about salt water in the sea and it helps you lock up your hair, and that's great. That's all fine and dandy. Excuse me, but you still need to wash it out. You can't leave that stuff on your scalp, especially the salt. As it dries, it will dry out your scalp extremely, really bad. If you don't even have scalp issues, you can cause scalp issues by that kind of stuff. Same thing with the sea salt spray that some people use. It needs to be washed back out of your hair and not allowed to sit on your scalp for very long, because it can cause the oil, which can cause the dread rot. That's simple. So always wash your hair when you go swimming, guys. It's seriously, it's important. All right. If you live in a humid climate, all right, in Vegas, I don't live in a humid climate at all. I live in the very opposite of that. We live in one of the driest climates in the U.S. So for me, if I wash my hair in the morning, I know that I get in my truck, roll the window down for 5 minutes during the summer, and my hair is completely dry, drier than it's ever been. My face is dry, it's so dry, and my skin gets pulled tight, and I need lotion. But seriously though, it's dry out here, all right? But for those of you that aren't blessed to live in a really dry climate, you live in LA, you live in the South, what have you, wherever, in New York, then you guys need to be making sure that you're staying on top of always drying your hair. Keep repeating myself, it's important, all right? So humid climates, dry your hair, all right? Another thing is be cognizant of the products and what they have in them that you're using in your hair, okay? A lot of people have been talking about using an apple cider vinegar rinse in your hair to get rid of dread rot. The only thing about that is you need to be sure what type of dread rot you're dealing with, okay? Because if you're dealing with the second type, which is the oil buildup because you have an irritated scalp, you actually need to solve the problem of your irritated scalp because, and I've experienced this firsthand, the apple cider vinegar actually did the opposite for me, which is what it dried it out even more. So it stripped out all that stuff that was in my hair, but then it also took all the stuff off my scalp and then some. So my scalp reacted like, oh crap, we have no, oil whatsoever, and then got even worse. And then I had even more of it in my hair like 2 weeks later. So I was shocked. I'm like, why the hell does this not work? Well, that's why. Okay, so you guys need to be cognizant of the stuff that you're putting in your hair and what the effects are on your hair, and if you have dread rot, the stuff that you're using to try to get rid of it. Okay, so residue-free products, seriously, don't use no wax. All right, wax is horrible. I've talked about that so many times. Wax is horrible. It does not belong in hair. All right, it can trap water, and you don't want that. But Don't use wax. Make sure that you're using residue-free shampoos, the dread bars, that kind of stuff. I use Shea Moisture. That's what works for my scalp, and that's why I use it. But really, it's just anything that's residue-free. And I don't even think Shea Moisture is 100% residue-free, but I do a really good job of making sure I'm rinsing it fully out of my hair. And so if you can't use it for whatever reason, like you have to use a specific dandruff shampoo product or whatever to maintain your scalp health, then you need to be cognizant of that and be extra rinsing your hair. Okay, and then lastly, the antifungals, like the tea tree oils and what have you, and you can read that online, the other stuff that you can use, but tea tree oil is like the big one, the real big one, to use the antifungal properties in tea tree oil that'll fight off the mold, okay? It's not too late if you have dread rot, but you need to attack it as soon as you see it, okay? You can't let it go and you can't let it be. And this is why I say that you guys need to be watching what you're doing with your hair. Because before, when you had an afro, or before when you had long straight hair, whatever you had before this, a shaved head, it was very easy to hop in the water, hop out, easy, whatever, go, you know, when I wash my hair, I get to it. But now it's a big deal because stuff gets trapped in here and it doesn't go away until you get it out. All right, and it gets really hard to once it gets dug deep in there, okay? So that's pretty much it, you guys. Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. I told you guys at the beginning of the video I got rid of my dread rot. The way I did that was I used a combination of extremely hot water that almost burned myself, but extremely hot water and tea tree oil to remove the crap that was stuck in my hair and pulled it out. So that was what worked for me. You're gonna have to find something that works for you, but if you have the second type, it's the oily, waxy buildup that has a lot of hair in it, or not hair, skin in it as well, dead skin, that might work for you. So try that out first, okay, and then dry it really well afterwards. But anyways, guys, without rambling anymore, I know this has been a really long video, but I couldn't really think of a way to split it up into more than just do it all at once. So if you've lasted with me till the end, I highly doubt it, but if you lasted with me till the end, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. One love. I hope this helps you guys out. Peace.